VTCo. I'm joined here with Rowan, and we're here to represent the Visual Thinking Company. I wanted to frame the word company. It comes from the Latin word companis, and that means a group of people that have a shared and aligned goal. And here at the Visual Thinking Company, our shared and aligned goal is to provide citizens with the correct data so they can increase their quality of life, and also provide that same data to institutions so they can plan a little bit better. Now, starting off with the problem itself, we'll take Vancouver as an example. There's a school that goes by the name of Sir John Carleton. That school itself is located blocks away from Joyce SkyTrain station in a fast-growing part of the city and heavily dense. Recently it's closed down, and what happened, and the reason because of that is because the Ministry of Education reported a decline in enrollment and the government of BC reported an increase in population. Two contradictory data sets, and they decided to do the long-term decision of closing the school down. That example is not just happening in Vancouver, but across all verticals of education, healthcare, government services, and housing, all across the nation itself. Now I'll be passing it off to Rowan to talk about the solution.
So our solution is the social infrastructure database. This is one large data lake that reconciles data across every domain that pertains to a citizen's quality of life at every layer of government. We unify this data into one canonical schema, and then use that schema to create every single one of our products. And on this slide, you can see our 5 revenue channels. Today, we're going to be talking about our first product, which is going to be a finder that comes out of beta in 2 weeks.
Our first product is called the Metro Vancouver School Space Finder, and this is a free-to-use tool for everyone in BC. And what our team has done is collected all the data on both public and private schools in the Lower Mainland, and that data collected is consisting of enrollment data, catchment boundaries, proximities, and also specialized programming as well. That is a free-to-use tool, and how we monetize that is through Realtor Intelligence, which is realtors are able to buy exclusive dissemination areas where they sponsor a territory, and their sponsorship would then be live on our platform in 4 different ways. So what we like to say is that we're the wholesaler of data and the seller of insights, and there's 3 tiers into this. First is our realtor tier, where we sell the territory intelligence, $7 per dissemination area. The second tier is focusing on analysts. So we have the analyst that has all their ready-made tools ready, such as Behringer or Esri, and we use our MCP server to plug into their tools. So it's the same workflow, no friction, but they have more data to use at hand. The flip side of that are analysts that don't have the ready-made tool set and the hardcore tools at hand. So we provide the dashboards and the visualizations through what we call the SID workbench, the Social Infrastructure Database workbench. And then our third tier is our institutional tier, where we do bespoke consulting workshops. And the conclusion of those workshops is to get a API per seat licensing fee, so they have access to the data within our database. To date, we've raised around $470,000. $81,000 has come from the team itself. You're probably wondering why Rowan and I have invested our own money, and that's because we understand that this is a much larger problem at hand, and we would love to be a part of a cause that's solving the civic infrastructure problem across the nation.
Right, time is up. Thank you.
Questions? Yes.
What's the technology and stack you are using for?
So our backend is a database that's pure data. For our like a school space finder itself, that's an MCP server that then connects to our dashboard. So when you type in a natural language query, it can pull in everything that pertains to that query itself. So say that you search up, I have a child who's in 8th grade, so then it'll click 8th grade. Who has asthma, then it'll go find a good facility condition. That also is looking for French immersion. then it'll parse through all the programs and find French version. For any other inquiries, you can contact Nick and we can get you connected with Josh, our CTO.
So first of all, I mean, this is great initiative. So one question is on like, what do you think is the most important asset? Because data is coming from, let's say, government, and in future, if Canadian government decides to launch something like data.gov, then I mean, what is your mode? And the second one is when it comes to that kind of removing the inconsistency. Are you taking a position that, for example, the example you gave, there are two different insights from two different data sets. Who does the reconciliation?
So the first question was the aspect, which is the most important aspect of data, correct?
Yes, and how do you make sure that your main data source is not your computer itself? What if they release a dashboard?
And the second one was making sure that our own data is not contradictory.
No, the other one is how do you fix these problems that you are saying are the one that is drawing customers to you, that the data is inconsistent?
Okay, so for the first one, the aspect was that every single one of these government agencies, there's a bunch of them, they'll have their own data in silos. So you can think of them as vertical silos. But a citizen's life is distributed horizontally across all of them. So when we go out, we might take the bus, we might go to the hospital, so forth. Our life is distributed across, but the health data is in its own silo, so is housing, so is transit. So all we're here to do is connect those, and that's on the institutional life based. Now, when it comes to, okay, we have two pieces of data that are now contradictory with each other. When we're engaged with an institutional partner, all we're doing is making that known to them, and then they can choose how they want to approach it.
Just to add on to that point as well, when it comes to our institutional side and just our whole business, we operate in what we call the information layer. We're responsible for giving them the right data and the right information. We don't operate in the decision boundary itself. That's up to the institution at the end of the day.
All right, thank you so much for answering our judges' questions. We are at time for this presentation. I would like to thank you, the Visual Thinking Company, for educating us about your services and your vision. And may I please have everyone give them a round of applause. Can I please invite Wayne up next for his presentation?
Wayne, just a minute before you begin. We have our timekeeper, that's Priti. So if you could just catch her eye, she'll be giving you a signal at the time when